Hello and welcome. I'm Kobi Appelbaum.
I'm Golan.
Together we will bring you the most current and relevant affair that's happening today in the state of Israel. Hope you would like to join us. Stay tuned and we will give you 40 minutes of the best current events.
So, what is the most burning event in Israel today?
Well, the most burning event right now is actually occurring in the States. It's all about, because it's been going on for 3 days, it's the attitude of Donald Trump to the riots in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, there is a gap between the Jewish communities in the States, of course, and the Jewish people of the States of Israel. But apparently, the shock and awe of Donald Trump's response has also affected political people here in Israel. And everybody here are shocked by his, I don't know how to pronounce it even.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we hear a lot about Donald Trump in Israel. He's probably... he's been talked about so much in Israel, it's almost like he's the president here. But if we're
That's not far from truth, by the way, if you ask me.
I know. But, what bothers me in this issue, definitely there were some neo-Nazis there, and violence should be, condemned from all sides. But the problem that I have here is that most left-wing people basically take Donald Trump and pin him with those neo-Nazis. They're trying to make it seem like these are the Trump voters, these are the Republicans. And I'm sorry, it's not true. I see what I call fake news, which CNN, MSNBC, I watch Fox News, but if I see something else, you see them basically, accusing and blaming Trump for everything that's wrong in America. He said there, he condemned both parties. He condemned violence from radical left-wing. He condemned violence from right-wing extreme right-wing parties. What more do they want? I don't understand.
May, I totally agree with you. He should and he did condemn both parties. But if you ask me, and this is my own Neanderthal experience and opinion, both parties are not on the same level. You have extremists on both sides, but you have to take into consideration...
Why aren't they on the same level?
Because the right-wing extremists are, without any other good word to express, they are neo-Nazis. Or if you ask me, they're
and
not even
Antifa isn't? Antifa that came with bats and
No, I totally agree, but I don't know who started the fight. I wasn't there.
By the way, it was not that I'm making it right from the extreme right wing, but no one is talking about the radical left wing groups that are sponsored, by George Soros, by New Israel Fund, by many, Black Lives Matter. These are people that are trying, to pin everything on Trump in order to impeach him. And, he did what a president should do, and he condemned both parties. Seriously, I think this is another part of the left-wing agenda to try and ruin him. Ruin his reputation, what he does. No one talks, Kobi, no one talks about what he does daily, about the good things he does.
So what you're saying is that whatever he's going to do, damn if he does, damn if he don't, because it's going to be his blame either way, whatever terminology that he's going to express. But then again, on my behalf, I think that his response was, as we say, a little bit too weak and a little bit too late. It took him 2-3 days to express this disgust from this current affair. Wouldn't you expect the most regal figure in the White House, and it's Donald Trump, he's not politically correct, he's surely not Obama. You would have expected him to go head on, to bash some heads along the way. And
let me ask you that.
It sounds very strange for me.
Let me ask you that. And I think this is the basic question that should be asking in. Do you think Donald Trump is a racist? Towards Jews, towards black people, towards, any kind of minority? You know what? I will answer, and you will answer after.
Okay.
I think definitely not. Okay, his daughter is a Jewish. His kids are married to Jews. He has so many, Afro Americans, people in his staff. He could not be the most opposite thing than a racist. Now, to try to pin it on him because it took him 24 hours to say, obviously he's against violence. He went to the family of the girl who got murdered, but he said on the same breath of air that you should condemn the radical left as well. And you know what what bothers the media in America? What bothers them is that in their mind, there isn't any violence in the left-wing parties. In their mind, he should have only condemned the right-wing extremists, not to say anything on the same, breadth of words. And that, for me, is just hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. You should let the president, the outspoken president, the non-political correct president, to say whatever he wants, to say to his people whatever he feels. You shouldn't dictate to him what to say. And for me, it's very similar to our next topic with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, because you can criticize him and we can say that we don't agree with most of his things, but you can't ignore the fact that we have a media in Israel that is basically tearing him apart for every word he does. Nothing good to say about him, nothing good to say about his family. And we can see it, we can see it with the rallies against him, we can see it with a lot of fake news against him. But,
by the way, some people would say that there is a similar pattern here going with Benjamin Netanyahu, our prime minister, that, again, whatever he's going to do, whatever he's going to say, as the word says, they are drinking his blood with a teaspoon. Same for Benjamin Netanyahu, same for Trump. And I would be the first to concur on that issue that his daughter is Jewish. As you said, a lot of Afro-Americans are serving on his staff. But then again, I have a problem, and please explain to me. When the former head of the KKK is
David Duke,
when he's saying that he's okay with Trump's response, that gives me a very nasty tickle on the side.
Okay, you know what? I have to respond to that, because this is something a lot of people say. And these people, what is the First Amendment of the
freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech,
you don't need
right?
to be a lawyer to know that. Absolutely.
You're not allowed to say you'll kill any person because of his color or his race, but you are allowed to say that you don't like this person. So as the Antifa people are saying they don't like, right-wing people, the David Duke and his people say they don't like Jews or they don't like black people. But these people, in the end of the day, has to vote for someone. They're part of America. So they're voting for Trump. You can't tell them not to vote for Trump, but you can't blame Donald Trump for the support of David Duke and his people. He didn't part with them. He didn't collaborate with them, for the election. He said numerous times that he doesn't agree with them, that he dislikes them, that he obviously doesn't support anything of their agenda. But they exist. They exist. They're part of our reality. So what are you going to do?
They were there many years ago before even Trump came into the picture, of course.
And you know what? If you want to take it a step forward, then come out and say, let's take their right to vote. Okay? If you don't think they have the right to exist with which I think their opinion is horrible, but you can't do that. You have the freedom of speech as the First Amendment of the United States, and you have to let them say what they think. So you can't pin it on Trump, by the way, you couldn't pin like, my English, I'm an Israeli guy.
Her English is better than my people, trust me.
You got to give us credit. We have a good English for Israelis, but in the end of the day, we're Israelis.
Yeah.
So.
Thank God for that. Thank God for small favors.
But I'm saying you can't pin it on them. Why? Because no one pinned Black Lives Matter when they shouted, against white people on Barack Obama. No one blamed Antifa on Barack Obama, although there's a lot of relations
between them. This is hypocrisy
them.
by its best. I do agree with you that if you're a Afro-American president, you get a special kind of treatment, while you are a white, call it businessman with no politically correct sense of speak, so you'll get a different attitude towards you. But then again, even the people, even elements in the Republican Party, you could see the head of staff, John Kelly, and he was embarrassed. You cannot avoid it. There is something, again, on my behalf, something is wrong with the way that Donald Trump is conveying. The way that he conveys his message.
Why? Because he's real? Because he speaks out what's on his heart.
I do admit that he's real. He's talking from the gut.
Why he got voted? He got voted because he comes from the people. He could be a billionaire.
He got voted, and I'm not an American citizen. I don't have a social security number. I'm talking as a Jew living here in the state of Israel. He got voted because the former president was incompetent on whatever he did.
No, you're missing
out.
I'm sorry, but
on my behalf,
you're missing out a huge part of it. He got voted because despite of the fact that he's a billionaire and he has buildings all over New York and all over the world, he is still one of the people. He eats McDonald's, he talks on their level, he comes out, and say what the people want to say but has no voice to say it. He is one of the people, and this is, my friend, one of the reasons that the people love him. And
I'm sorry, you're portraying him like the people's defender, like some sort of a businessman, Robin Hood.
Why
I'm
do you
sorry,
think?
I can't buy it because I don't know. You know what? Let's talk about the White House. Let's get a little bit rid from the subject.
Okay.
When you look about the White House today, please explain to me a kindergarten with ADHD kids looks better as an organization than the White House nowadays. The Scaramucci affair.
You're exaggerating.
Excuse
You're doing
me?
fake news.
Oh, come
You're
on.
fake news
Wait,
to me.
wait.
Not
Maybe
cool.
I am, maybe I'm not. But is it the fact that Scaramucci was brought to fill in a certain part and
Listen.
after 10 days was relieved of duty? Who does such a thing?
How long is Trump in admission? He's
6 months, 7 months perhaps on a good day.
I don't remember such criticism when Barack Hussein Obama was 6 months in the White House.
I like that you use the full name.
It's his
Thank
full name, you know.
Yeah.
Let's
it's
be
on his
honest.
ID, yeah.
You know, regarding to that, I have to tell you, I was airing another show in another famous studio here in Israel. I won't say his name. And when I said the full name, I said Barack Hussein Obama, I got lectured from the director who took me after the show and said, "You can't say it." And I said, "Why can't I say it?"
But that's his name.
That's his full name. He says, "No, that's not politically correct. You're provoking the public." And I said, "Excuse me." It's like
It's like saying the sun is up at high noon, like it's provoking the sun. Come
Okay.
on, people.
So that's why, people, we're here, you know, and we're doing this show. And this is what I call real news, okay? No hostile media, no one to come over you and tell you what to say and what not to say. And this is, you know, the new era that we have today in Israel. And the new era, I think, that comes the world that Donald Trump brought with him. This is the time for real news from the people. No one is directing us. We're saying whatever we want
Absolutely.
to say. And you know what? I think that you're talking about the White House. And the White House, you know, this is a new staff, and Trump is trying to assemble his people. And you know, if he's not comfortable with a person, then this person shouldn't be there. He is not fake. You know, he is not a hypocrite.
Oh, I agree on that point. He says whatever he wants. He doesn't have any buffers to control him. He's not politically correct. I'm just going to say one thing to end this topic. He said a very interesting phrase. There were also good men there. And if you ask me, and forgive me for being a bit cynical, because that's my DNA,
Yeah.
there were really, really good people over there. There were some policemen and firefighters and maybe some local resident. But if you talk about violence on both sides, I totally agree with you. Whether you're from the left wing or from the right wing, violence should be condemned 100%. Nothing else to say beyond that.
Agreed.
So, from this point, I guess that we're going to continue to Netanyahu's lack of response, or should we say a very soft response? Tell me something. And you know the subtleties of the inner American politic fabric. Can it be that Netanyahu doesn't want to quarrel with his best new friend, or maybe Netanyahu should, you know, because when Netanyahu wants to speak against any issue, he knows how to open his mouth and stand on his rear legs. So why is that? What do you think?
I think Netanyahu's biggest priority right now is Netanyahu. And
Wasn't it always like that?
you know,
Sorry, being cynical again.
I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying that we have so many local, you know, internal affairs right now that I don't think he has the time to, you know, get interested in what's happening in America and with Trump. I do think that although Trump is the best friend we had in years in America, after what I call 8 years of terror with Obama, and I'm saying
I second that.
you know, with really, you know, humiliation towards Netanyahu and towards Israel, and no matter how much money we got, because a lot of people like to say, yeah, but it's the time that we got so much money. It doesn't matter. The way he looked at us and the world, and is the way Barack Obama looked at Israel is the way the world looked at us, and it was a horrible way. But what I want to say about regarding Trump and Netanyahu's relationship is that I have to say I'm a bit disappointed. Because
Really?
yeah, and you know, you can't. I'm a right-wing person. My opinions are right-wing.
We love you either way.
Yeah.
I'm a
And-
guy and they love me either way, so nobody's perfect nowadays.
No, but you know, it's not a secret, and I'm not trying to hide it. But I am disappointed because I felt that once Donald Trump will enter the position, that Netanyahu will take it by both hands and, you know, grab it on and run with it. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen. And the most important thing for me.
Do you think that it can happen in the near or maybe in the far future?
No.
Do we have the terms that can, you know...
I think that we definitely have the terms. But you know, there's two things that bother me. First thing is the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount
A
was
very,
you
very
know,
sensitive issue.
sensitive issue, but an issue that should have been resolved. And once we had the backing from the United States, I think that Benjamin Netanyahu and the government should have, taken one step forward. But what led to the problem in Temple Mount is the fact that we had the option to move the embassy finally to Jerusalem, something that is so basic and so right, and yet it was postponed for 6 months. And I have to say, I don't think...
Do you think that we lose momentum on this issue?
I'm just going to finish my sentence.
Sorry.
I'm saying I don't think it's Trump's fault. Because I really think that if he would have had someone to collaborate with on this issue here, then it would have happened. And that leads me to the fact that, I was disappointed when Jared Kushner came here and, okay, he came here and he was very good, and then he went back to the States, and when the metal detectors on the Temple Mount happened, he was the one who basically advised, to take them down. And I think that for someone, I respect Jared Kushner and I respect Trump, but I think that for someone who, just entered the job, to do something that is so sensitive and made us look so weak and shouldn't have happened, I think it wasn't a good decision. And I think that the thing is that we're still learning. I think that the Netanyahu's government is still learning how to assemble a good founded relationship with the Trump administration, because the love is in the air. We can't ignore it, but it needs to go down to basic,
to real
things.
action,
and I think it's not there yet.
Because I think on my behalf, the magnetometers on Temple Mount was a crucial misjudgment, like somebody
totally
made a fatal error. Like we had the opportunity to set a new set of rules, and when pull comes to shove, we missed that point, and it backfired tremendously, right at our back. And it was, I don't know, and you know what? It's not the end of the story, because right now,
unfortunately, this will have an effect.
Absolutely.
Taking down metal detectors 2 days after you put it there against terrorists, something that is so basic, and we have every right to take them down. I think it's not just shameful on the respect level. It actually is endangering our public, because the police demands it. The police says we need it there. It can't be that you'll take it off just because of pressure.
Wait. This is not an issue that should be decided by the police. The Israeli security.
Why not?
Because the police may be in control physically on the Temple Mount and on its surroundings.
So who should decide? The Jordanians?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
But the Shabak is the one responsible, using its intelligence resources and I don't know what. And this is their decision.
In the end of the day, who is standing at the gate, getting shot, checking the
the police didn't want to have those element of inspection over there, because they said we cannot check one by one 150,000 people coming each Friday to pray on Temple Mount. They are talking about something else. I think that there was a problem with the police because they were afraid to put their real view on the table.
This is exactly what someone, and I'm not going to say names, what someone in the government is making you to believe. This was not the decision of the police. The police stood by their decision until the last minute with the Minister Gilad Erdan, Homeland Minister, who said until the last minute metal detectors shouldn't go down. They should stay there. But someone in the government decided to try and pin it on him and on the police forces in order to make it seem as they didn't get this decision. I'm talking about the cabinet of our government. This wasn't decided by the police. This was decided by the government. This was a wrong decision. And
wait, but nevertheless, this is a political decision. This is this is not a
okay,
tactical
but
decision of a police officer.
It shouldn't be a political decision, because this is the entire problem with the Temple Mount. Temple Mount is not political. If we are a country that saves a democracy and saves the right for every religion to pray, you let the Arabs pray, you let the Christians pray, but you don't let the Jews pray. What kind of, what kind of control? What kind of control on the mountain is that? It's, not only it's it's really embarrassing the Jews. There's so many words, I don't know which one to use, but what message do we send to the world? What message do we send to our citizens? We keep saying we control the Temple Mount. We decide. Well, we're not.
I totally agree on that. Maybe we're in control, let's say,
if a Jew,
in plain view on the paper.
Yeah, but I'll just finish in that sentence. When a Jew in our Jewish country that was built and founded after so many years of terror, if a Jew can't go to the Temple Mount, one of the most holiest places in our country, and pray and say the Shema Israel and feel a part of this place, I'm sorry, but this country has experienced something very wrong and bad in it as long as the Temple Mount is not allowing Jews to pray in it.
So.
Yeah.
Clear point, that's for sure.
Our next topic.
Yeah, unfortunately, terror is on our agenda too often, too many days in a row. The widow of Elad Solomon that was murdered in the terrorist act in Halamish settlement says, I do appreciate death penalty to terrorists. The security forces of the IDF destroyed the terrorist house at the village of Kober, who murdered 3 members of the Solomon party, and also the military judge advocate will set murder, how do you say it? Sorry, my English is getting so mixed up sometimes.
What?
An indictment
Okay.
on the charges of 3 multiple murders against this assassin. I don't know even how to use the word. Terrorist is soft on my behalf.
You're right.
I'm sorry to say scum
I call
of the
them
earth.
evil monsters. But
Evil monsters, yes, scum of the earth, evil monsters.
Yeah.
By the way, this is very strange, but due to a contribution made by the people in the village of this terrorist, a secondary land was given to this family even before the bulldozer went and ruined the original house of the family, which is outrageous on my behalf. If you'd ask me, and I'm sorry to say, I would ruin the house, I would deport the family, I would poison their dog, sorry, not to mention that I love dogs anyway, and I would put some poisonous radioactive salt on that ground so nothing good would ever come from this soil. And it's simply... Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional. And
you're definitely right, and I understand.
And you know what? We are seeing the same story, and then people run to the Supreme Court, and we're starting, and we start, and we're and we start playing tennis like, oh, they do have their rights. Seriously, deportation.
Let me tell you something about that. And I was just talking about it with MK Miki Zohar yesterday in this channel.
Cabinet member.
Yes, exactly about this issue. Look, we are a joke when it comes to...
A sad joke. Forgive me for saying.
Yeah. When it comes to actually put terror away. And what am I talking about? We ruining a house for a terrorist family when she has a building, and we're ruining 1 floor because it wasn't proven that he was living in the rest of the floors is a joke. It doesn't scare them. It doesn't stop them.
They get money to build a better house later on.
It sends a message to all terrorists, we will do nothing to you, because what? What is going to happen once you make a terror attack? If you die, you'll go to heaven, you'll have 72 virgins, and Allah will love you.
I'm not sure
and
that
like
this is a prize, by the way.
Yeah, but according to them. But if you won't die, then you'll get in jail. You'll get married.
Oh, I'm sorry to say, the Israeli Country Club jail, by the way.
Exactly.
You'll make a degree.
Yeah, you'll make a degree, you'll get married, you'll have visitations, you'll do, barbecue with your friends there, you'll get a salary from either Fatah or Hamas, and you'll be a hero for the rest of your life.
Actually, you're making a career.
And next time, God forbid, they will kidnap a soldier, we will release you, although you murdered a whole family, like the Fogel family, that the terrorists had murdered the wife, the husband, 3 of their babies, and he got away. But listen, exactly what I was talking about with MK Miki Zohar last night here. He came up with a suggestion, an excellent suggestion. He said, what was proven in Thailand and in China is good for us. In China and in Thailand, you have a lot of Muslims. And groups of terror were starting to assemble. And once there were terror attacks, what did the Chinese and the Thais did? They took the body of the terrorists and they buried it with the skin of pig.
Which is against, of course, the Quran and the Islamic belief.
And once it happens, you don't get your 72 virgins and you won't get to meet Allah. So he suggested it, and immediately all, the beautiful souls and, the people that really knows better than everyone jumped on him. This is horrible. So this is better than just ruining, a stupid house and let them continue doing what they do. 3 things should happen. 1, terrorists shouldn't come out alive from a terror attack. He should die.
I agree on that.
If
I
he-
totally
he was-
agree with
if
you
he-
on that
if
point.
he was miraculously alive, then he should die. He shouldn't be alive, period. Second, their people should be, if they have Israeli citizenship, the citizenship should immediately be taken. They should be deported out to Syria, to Iraq, to Yemen, I don't care where. They should be deported, not a part of Israel anymore. Their house is definitely should be ruined, the entire house. And
Including the basement.
exactly, including the basement. And the money that we give, Abu Mazen and the Palestinian Authority, that he gives, this is the same money.
Should be deducted.
Should be done. Not 1 shekel should go to the Palestinian Authority that we know is transferring it to either Hamas or Fatah to give prizes to terrorists. What are we? How can we stop the terror? Terror is not going to stop in Israel.
No.
They want us dead or in the sea. This is the two solutions. They will not live with us. They do not believe in the basic right of Israel
There is
to exist.
no other person on the other side. There is no partner for any kind of dialogue, for any kind of
So
peace
how
process
many
right now.
years should we suffer terror attacks before we realize that something harsh and serious should happen? I don't understand, It's really a mystery to me. But, I have to say that I can feel that recently we have, MKs and members of the Knesset and ministers that are trying, obviously from the right-wing parties, that are trying to realize it, are trying to understand that this situation as we live in today can't continue as it is. And slowly, very slowly, I think they're gathering up the courage to say the words that should be said in order to do the actions that should be done.
You remind me, you probably read a book by a former mayor of New York, Rudolph Giuliani,
I
who
did.
said, fighting fire with fire. Maybe there is a new attitude towards terrorism right now, where you hit me and I'll hit you many times worse than that. Like, the only option to fight terror, if you cannot contain it, if you cannot predict it, because that's the whole issue about terror,
You can't predict it.
is strike
16-year-old
hard.
kid coming out with a
No,
knife.
you can't do anything about it. So you have to strike first, you have to strike hard, and you have to strike with a resounding echo that would leave a mark
Just
on
to
your
mention
enemy.
one thing, you're talking about, that you can't predict it. If you do predict it, then we have the Supreme Court that rules it out,
Yeah.
which is a joke. Just now, a 15-year-old terrorist who stabbed 2 kids in Israel and by a miracle didn't kill them, what happened to him? He got 12 and a half years, which was a disgrace from the begin with. And then the Supreme Court takes it off to 9.5 years.
Which means that he's going to be out around his mid-20s and go all over again. He will become even
Are
a
we
more
serious?
dangerous terrorist.
That,
Oh.
that logical is beyond me.
I'm sorry.
Really beyond me.
I'm sorry to say, we need to do some serious soul searching about ourselves before we take any other measures, because
Exactly.
the main issue with terror, it's not only that terror is out there, is that we fail each and every time in knowing how to cope with it. And maybe in the 70s or in the 80s, and we all know the stories, Kav Shloshmot and everything, maybe we should go back to our roots, to the basic fundamentals of fighting terror, which means we cannot afford ourselves being too liberal and run each and every second day to the Supreme Court. Can we do this? Are we allowed to do that? Maybe we need to go
Our
back to
roots
basics.
is our Holy Torah, our Holy Bible. And the
Eye
Bible
after
says, eye under eye. You get strike, you strike back, and you strike harder. You eliminate the person who wants to ruin you. And you know what? It's not even about religion. It's basic logic,
I totally
And
agree.
You can't be human on the cost of poor people. You can't sit in your ivory building like the Supreme Court judges, and say, yeah, we're very humanitarian, but we don't mingle with these people who suffer from terror. We have guarded houses.
They don't walk around at 9 p.m. in the evening
No,
at the
they don't.
southern parts of Tel Aviv
Exactly.
and the old bus station over there. I guess that not even one of them has ever been there for the past, 25 years.
No, this is,
They're secluded and protected, of
exactly.
course.
And this, by the way, before we finish, this relates to my fight. What I do? I'm running this fight for the last 6 years against illegal infiltrators that came in from Africa.
Sudanic,
Eritreans, Mongolians,
immigrants,
illegal immigrants, and they came in and conquered a whole bunch of neighborhoods. And this is the same thing. The solution to it leads again to the Supreme Court, where those judges who know nothing about what's going on in those poor areas, know nothing about what it means to live with those illegal immigrants, gives them more budgets and gives them more rights on the cost of who? On the cost of the poor Jews who doesn't have the voice to
who
fight.
already start on a very low socio-economic. They don't have the resources to protect themselves.
This is the real racism, by the way. The real racism comes from those, fake elites, snowflakes, that basically feel more, supreme than us. They feel like, I don't know, maybe different blood runs through their veins, and they can decide, decisions that will not affect them, but will definitely affect the people. It's democracy under dictatorship. It seems like a democracy, but actually they put their own mind and their own set of mind that is completely detached from the majority of the public in Israel, and they implement it by force. And that, my friend, is a dictatorship.
So what you're saying, this is actually a democracy as long as it goes with my own personal agenda. Because
Exactly.
if it collides with anything that I, let's say, oppose to, so actually it's either my way or the highway. And you have to accept my own personal truth.
Because you go to the Knesset, right? Every elections, you vote for your 120 representative. And what happens in the end? They pass a law, and the Supreme Court comes and cancel it. I don't remember going to in election day and voting for the Supreme Court judges. I don't remember giving them the power to decide over my life, but they do.
Yeah, but this is one of the ways that the democratic system controls and balances.
Yeah, but she doesn't balance it.
Every law student on its first year know about everything about the control and how you control.
You're a lawyer, and a very good one. But you.
Thank you. But I have more disadvantages beyond that. But yes, I do admit.
But you have to admit that this is not balanced. The Supreme Court judge's opinion is not balanced. It's left.
I agree that somewhere between the practical and the theoretical issue, there is a very wide gap that we cannot, live with. And of course, the Supreme Court has its own agenda. And, I don't want to sound a bit, let's say, biased, but when you look at the people sitting there, and by the way, there is a shift towards the right-wing judges prior to former years, you can see that the decision by the Supreme Court today are a little bit more balanced, which on my behalf as a lawyer, as a citizen, might be resulting in better decision towards us, the citizens sitting here.
I completely don't agree.
Completely don't agree?
I completely don't agree. I don't think that the Supreme Court judges are leaning towards the people by any way. I think...
No, I'm not talking about them leaning and giving decisions that might affect us on each and every step of our lives. But you can see that those who claim that the Supreme Court is tending to the left-wing issues more than ever before...
It's a fact.
But not as former years. Listen, we all know about the decision when former President Aaron Barak...
Which started this left-wing radical revolution.
I'm not giving my own opinion whether it's good or bad. That was the fact that what was happening back in those years. But you can see that there is some shift towards the decision that the Supreme Court takes.
Not remotely enough.
Let me give you an example just before we finish. This is the latest from the Supreme Court, who just said that a woman could be nominated to be administrative manager in the, how do you say, Bet Din rabbinic courts?
Yes.
So
the rabbinic...
are we okay with that? This is like a very liberal decision because...
Question is not if we're okay with that, if it's the rabbinic court okay with it.
Oh, they will oppose it anyway. But then again, the Supreme Court...
You're imposing something that is not okay. And listen, I'm pro letting anyone live the way he wants to live. But I'm not pro on imposing a lifestyle on someone that doesn't want to accept it. Why go and be, a representative there? Okay, it doesn't say...
Well, wait, the lawyer here just has to stand up and says,
okay,
what about freedom of occupation?
Okay, freedom of occupation.
If a woman wants to be an administrative manager at a rabbinic court and she has the capabilities...
But the rabbinic court doesn't want her. Okay, let's say Golan goes now to B'Tselem or Breaking the Silence. I want to be there. I want to speak my opinion, but they don't want me. They don't want me, and they have the right to not want me.
But they're obligated by law, even if they don't like your opinions, to listen to them.
So what happens to the right of an owner to not hire someone because he's forced to You know, it goes against their beliefs. It goes against their religion. You know, I don't want it to sound.
That's a whole different thing. We are not saying that this one is better than that one. We are not opposing a decision that would tell that a certain group of people could do that and the other cannot. We are just saying, up to this point, those people could only be males in the rabbinic court. Now we are saying, whether you have two candidates, a male and a woman, they both have an equal chance to succeed in this position.
You want to be realistic about it?
Forget about it. I'm talking about in a traditional way of thinking.
No, but you can't think theoretically about it. You can't.
But that's what the Supreme Court does.
No.
I'm not saying that this is a practical decision, but the Supreme...
But it means nothing. It means nothing to the people because they will not hire her in the end of the day. So what does the Supreme Court does here? He forces...
puts a bandage.
Yeah, but okay.
But then again, you have to start somewhere, right?
No, because this will never resolve. The rabbinic people, the religious Orthodox people will never accept a lesbian in their parties. Let's be honest, okay? Just like, okay, I think that some sort of gay parade, wouldn't let the head chief of rabbis speak in their gay parade. It's two different things. And you know what? It's okay to have different cultures. It's okay to have different beliefs. It's okay to have different people. I'm totally against on forcing people on one of the other. And I don't know if that woman has approached the High Supreme Court to do that. I think that's what happened in this story. I'm not sure. But if she did, I think it's a provocation because I will not, I'm secular. People say that I'm the most religious secular they know, but I'm secular in the way I'm dressed. And I wouldn't think, going with short sleeves to working in a religious place because I wouldn't be respecting their place. Just like I wouldn't want them.
But this is common logic,
Yeah, but just like I wouldn't want them to come to my neighborhood and impose, a religious lifestyle on me because we both choose how to live our lives.
But we do know that what you are describing right now, this is not what happens in real life. We do know that secular people have a tendency to live their life in a very, let's say, liberal way. We are not posing. I'm not going to go with a T-shirt in Me'ah She'arim. I will not play loud music on Shabbat in a religious neighborhood. But we do know for a fact that religious people are trying again and again, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way. I come from a religious family, by the way. But their way of, let's say, trying to get a threshold in secular neighborhoods is way more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but way more active than the opposite way around. So again, I don't know. Maybe the point in having a Supreme Court is trying to balance, because this is not an equation that goes the same in both ends of it. Like, it's not a 50-50 condition.
I think balances should come into place when there's a real discrimination. And let me give you an example for 1 second. When you have a religious school and they don't accept Mizrahi girls, for instance,
I totally agree on that point.
Or Ethiopian girls, then this is a real discrimination. But hiring someone in a place that is very clear about its rules and way of lifestyle, and entering someone that is totally the opposite of this lifestyle, by force, it's not discrimination. It's making you feel uncomfortable for both sides by force for something that is not natural. You will not take a puppy and put it in a wolf pack because they will eat him. Okay, and you will not take a wolf and
excuse me,
put
but
him
what
between
you
puppies.
are describing right now, let's take it to the agenda of serving gay people in the American army. And when gay people wanted to say, they had the tendency of don't ask and we won't tell. But then again, if the Supreme Court of the United States says that gay people can come and join the army, then what the Supreme Court is trying to do is not trying to impose two different parties in an impossible situation.
I think, you know what?
It's quite the same, because
I'll sum it up like that. I really think that every situation should be examined by its own, narratives. I don't think that it's similar. I really don't think that it's similar to take a gay woman into a rabbinic court.
We're not talking about a gay woman, just women.
We're talking about a woman?
Just a woman.
Oh, you said a
no,
gay.
No. The gay woman is a whole different story. Where in the
because we're looking at the newspaper here,
okay,
guys. You have to see, and there are two things.
No, this
that
is
are
another
mixed.
part, by the way.
No. So
Minister Bennett and its Jewish House party. A member of the Jewish House Party, Rabbi Israel Rosen, said that he will quit the party because the spokeswoman of Minister Bennett is a gay woman. This is a whole different story.
Okay, so let's put stuff in order.
Yeah.
Because we got mixed up, and I definitely think that a woman should be in the rabbinic court. Definitely.
Just
So-
a plain old woman. Maybe she's.
Definitely.
We are not talking about.
No.
So actually, what? So
Women is worth to men. This chauvinism should
okay,
be
so
passed,
let's
definitely.
rephrase it a little bit. So you do
Yeah.
agree with me now
Definitely.
that what the Supreme Court is trying to do
Yeah,
for
I
like
thought-
centuries ago, the rabbinic court and their positioning were only open for men, capable men or maybe incapable men. Now comes a woman, forget about the gay issue, and says, wait, if I'm capable enough, if I have my academic degree...
No,
if-
definitely.
Okay. And for this person, Rabbi Israel Rosen, if he wants to quit his party because the spokesman of the Minister Bennett is gay, well, what can I say? Good luck.
Yeah, that's
This is a little bit, I don't know,
again,
awkward.
we have situations here that should really be dealt delicately, especially in Israel, because, we have to take regards towards the feeling of religious people, and we have to take regards towards the gay community and to every minority and every community in Israel. But yet again, I really think that every situation is different regarding, gays
You said
joining the army.
should be examined on its own
On its own
narrative.
narrative.
But what happens when, to start with, your primal logic tells you the narrative by itself lacks logic, or its default? Because when you think about the people in the rabbinic court, when you think about the attitude of rabbinic courts,
towards women for centuries.
and again, I'm not saying anything against the Torah, but let's say in the 21st century, things might have been a little bit more
Outdated.
modern. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we have an organization, call it the Supreme Court, call it any other women's or liberal organization, who are trying to push towards this tendency to, make it a little bit less
first
out
of all,
of date.
we have to admit that we have done a lot of progress
Oh,
throughout the
absolutely.
years with, Orthodox people, with the way they, are combined with the rest of the society in Israel.
Look at the IDF religious people
Exactly.
serving, which is an
It's
amazing thing.
Still a big fight there. But, and, towards women, there has been a lot of, chauvinism and a lot of, disrespect and, basically sometimes just not favoriting women whatsoever just because they're women. And this is, I really think it's last century. But, we have so many, again, delicacies in Israel, so many cultures, so many people, even in the religious people and in the secular people, we have so many differences between us. We're such a small nation, and yet we have, so many different views, which I'm not sure if it's good or not, but this is the reality.
An 8 million state having 24 parties running for election each and every
Exactly.
4. And when you think about the U.S., 2 major parties, 350
And yet
million people.
they have.
Well, it's a whole
they
different
have the
system, of course,
Appelbaum.
yeah. Nobody's
We're running
perfect,
out of
as
time,
we said.
so we're going to our last topic.
Oh, yeah. This is a little bit, as we say, gossip style topic.
Well, we should lighten up at least towards the end.
Oh, absolutely.
We're very heavy with you guys.
Oh, yeah. So, as it's seen, Sarah Netanyahu, the wife
Yeah.
of our prime minister, has a new girlfriend, a new BBF. And we are talking about Nicole Reitman. To those of our viewers who don't know, Nicole Reitman is the wife of former oligarch Mikhail Chernoy. She's his present wife, but
Present wife.
he is a
Second wife.
former... Oh, a second
A
wife.
second wife.
I wasn't the first, right? No, it wasn't.
No.
Okay. And apparently, her new BFF, best friends forever, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is an American term, yeah.
BFF.
So she gave her the royal tour at the house of the former...
Can I say something about this issue? I am sick and tired of hearing about the home, the
falling apart, the walls
house
are
of
caving in.
Yeah, the house of the prime minister. Something really embarrassing when Donald Trump came in here and Benjamin
We painted
Netanyahu.
the house for you.
Sarah
Oh, yeah.
Netanyahu said to him in front of all the cameras, "We painted the house for you." I was
like-
feeling
This is so
crumbled
wrong,
in my
so
seat,
wrong in so many
going down.
ways.
I couldn't hear it. Come on, if this house needs to be painted and renovated, just paint it already. Enough to hear about it. You know, it's a house and you should remodel it. You know, they make all this like, you know, we shouldn't feel sorry for the Prime Minister and his wife. But this house, they have a nice life, but this house should be renovated. And, you know, left-wing people agree on it, right-wing people agree on it. It's a formal place for
Take
the
the
host
budget
people.
and fix it.
Budget exists,
Oh,
okay?
absolutely.
Just take it. Just paint the walls, do whatever you want, put furniture, and let's stop hearing about this topic. We have so many burning issues in Israel that needs to be taken care of. It's the last of my concerns, seriously.
Listen, it has a double centerfold page in a,
Yeah,
what they
it's
call
amazing. I wish you guys could see our newspaper.
By the way, this is Yediot, who few of
Yeah.
our photos are at the courtesy of Yediot nowadays. Look, this is Nicole Reitman here.
Yeah.
And it's a centerfold. Oh my God.
And if you don't know what's written in Hebrew, this is called the sequel, because it's been ongoing story in Israel. As though as we have nothing to talk about, we're talking about the house of the chairman of you know, Sarah Netanyahu and her husband. It's not even the formal house; it's the residence of the prime minister.
By
So,
the way,
come on.
And Nicole, this is going to be like the point of this story. Nicole Reitman also said, when she took a camera and photoed everything, the condition in which a terrorist lives in jail are more suitable
Oh my
than
God.
the terms in this house. Seriously?
Oh my God!
Do you lack the oxygen to your brain before saying something like that? Have you ever left Kikara Medina in northern Tel Aviv region to visit a jail and watch terrorists how
Listen,
they live?
I have to say something.
Seriously? Come
Like
on.
I'm really against what they're doing to the prime minister and his wife and his family in the media. I think there is a real serious, you know, ongoing, you know, battle against them, smearing them, talking about them. I like Nicole Reitman. She's cute. She's nice.
She has a
she's
good sense for
funny.
fashion.
She has a good sense for fashion.
Absolutely.
She brings respect to Israel. But guys, this topic has to be put to an end. Enough. Enough is enough. Do this place, make it better, make it look nice, and just redeem us from this topic.
Absolutely.
So, we're done? Yeah?
Yeah, this is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much,
you.
Mai, for the enlightenment, and
Thank
I
you.
hope that my English wasn't too much of an
It was
obstacle
great.
for you.
And thank you guys for joining us and being with us. Don't forget to join us next week as well. We'll be here giving you the hottest news in Israel.
And thank you for Ynet and Yediot Achronot for the courtesy of the photos. And please do comment on our YouTube and Facebook channel. If you have a question or anything else to add, we'll be right here. And until next time, thank you for watching
Before
us.
we finish,
Oh,
thank you very much to the woman who made it all happen.
absolutely.
Dalia
Thank you,
Arazi.
Dalia Arazi.
Thank you, and thank you to the channel Achdut and Geula, which means, you know, we're all waiting for the goodness of the Geula and the united people in Israel, and we like this channel. It's a channel for free news. So if you like us and support us, share, comment, and be with us next week.
Thank you. Take care. Good day.